Conservatory of the Ozarks told us, great show again. Conservatory, I love you, but there's no way you actually determine that yet. We're like 10 minutes in here. We've just been doing our banter. We haven't even gotten to our main topics today. We're going to be talking about some fun things. We're going to be doing a little bit of ranking of political red flags that pop up. We're going to be talking about tariffs because that's the big news of the day. And we're going to be we're going to be talking about the protests. Let's start with the protests. Let's mix it up because we did a lot of tariff talk yesterday. We're going to get plenty. I'm sure there's a lot of people here who want to hear us talk about tariffs. And I just have to say, you're going to have to wait for tomorrow's episode. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, all that good stuff. Or if you want to skip ahead to it right now, make sure to download our podcast episode on Spotify where you can listen to the whole thing because I don't have the time to cut them all up. Anyway, I know Buff Anime Nerd wanted to talk about the protests. I did attend one of the hands-off protests over the weekend. I definitely have some thoughts about it, but there's been a lot of discourse about it. So this is something you want to talk about, Buff Anime Nerd, so I'll let you introduce the topic.
Yeah, so obviously over the weekend we had the hands-off protests, which were this nationwide protest where literally millions of people gathered in cities across the entire nation. And one of the things I wanted to bring up is the fact that across the past 4 years, conservatives have said that the entire Biden administration was so bad, yet we didn't see a single protest even come close to the magnitude that we saw with the hands-off protest.
There's one I can think of.
There was one pretty big one. There was one big one.
I mean, technically, that was still under the
That is true. Yeah,
true.
But not only that, but we saw a distinct difference of how the police treated the hands-off protests compared to how they treated any Black Lives Matter protests. Because with the hands-off protests, they decided that they wanted to not treat them with any hostility, but with every single Black Lives Matter protest going into it, they treated it with hostility, even though both of these protests started the exact same way. They both started out extremely peaceful. And it wasn't until police intervention that the Black Lives Matter protests started kicking off towards the violent half because of said violent police intervention.
It is, and you can say it's a Black Lives Matter protest. You can say that about insert your Gaza protest here, whichever one you want to talk about. And this is actually something that I've seen, I guess, get criticized from the left in a way that I think is unfair. Because I see a lot of, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people have a feeling of stolen valor with this being called a protest. Because I'm going to be honest, it wasn't. Like, this was a political demonstration. It was not a protest. And it was very interesting being there because I had never felt more safe. Because I'm not an avid protester. I don't go to a lot of protests. I've been to protests. This didn't feel like a protest. It didn't feel, I felt completely safe because I was surrounded by a bunch of old white people. And like, you'll never feel safer from the police when you're surrounded by a bunch of old white people. And I was just like, I know nothing's going to happen here. They're not going to be pepper spraying grandma right next to me. Like, they're just not going to do that. So, and it was all organized by Indivisible, which is not necessarily a grassroots organization. I mean, they're a pretty large organization that is very Democrat aligned. And so I saw a lot of criticism of this from the left of like, hey, these aren't real protests. There was that viral story of that woman who's like, where's the bouncy house for my kids, which I thought was really funny. But like my whole thing with them was like, but why is any of this bad things? Like, oh, they're just trying to like sign up emails for donor lists. I'm like, okay, good. Like that's a good thing. We want people to be giving more money and becoming more politically engaged and getting out there and marching in mass numbers. Because I'll tell you what, if this was a tooth and nails, like we're trying to disrupt shit protest, you wouldn't have gotten millions of people across the entire country together to do this. It just wouldn't have worked that way. It's a different type of political message, which is also effective. And I feel like a lot of the criticisms on the left of it are I don't know, kind of missing the point. Did you see any of that, TJ? Any of that discourse?
No, I didn't know that. So I don't know. I actually didn't keep a lot of tabs on the hands-off. I remember hearing about it, But I never really looked into it, and I heard a lot of people say they were attending it and they're going to it and everything. And honestly, even the day before the protest, I wasn't exactly sure what it was about. I didn't know what hands off was in reference to. I had to look it up a little bit later.
Well, TJ, no one knew it was about. That was the other thing. It wasn't about any. Like, it was about Medicare, hands off Medicare, but it was just a insert your dilemma here. Like, there were signs for everything.
Okay, all right. That I feel less bad about that now. I was like, man, I feel like I should know this, but I had no idea. And I don't know. When you said that you heard people from the left criticizing it, I didn't expect you to go down the route saying that they, what did you say? That it wasn't really a protest. I wasn't expecting you to say that. I was thinking, and I haven't heard anyone say this, but I just remember having this thought when I saw that this protest was going off about the utility of protest in general. Honestly, I'm beginning to wonder at this point, is like, well, all right, is this, I don't know what this is going to do. Then again, it's also because of the ethereal and nebulous nature of this particular protest. But now that I've heard you say that they were doing things very unprotest like, registering people and, trying to a goal to get people more politically active, I do like that. I think that because unfortunately we have this view of politics in the United States where politics is something you do every other November. Is, oh, we're going to vote now. And then the rest of the time, you got nothing. You don't think about it at all. And protests can be effective in that. But if it's now, once again, I am not shitting on John and I are a little disagreement here. I am not shitting on, extra legal activities when it comes to protesting. I'm not. That's not my goal here. But I'm saying it's just as possibly more effective to get people actually registered and getting the email list and getting people out, for that, those 24 months in between before we actually vote. Well, what do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's definitely more beneficial to actually get people more engaged. We need more people engaged in the primaries, and that way we actually get candidates that we actually can platform, and everyone can be like, you know what? Yeah, we all agree with this here candidate right here, or at least a majority of us agree with this here candidate right here. And I think getting people to sign up and be more politically aware will inevitably get us to that point.
It is funny because one of the biggest things I noticed at the protest, and maybe this was just in Philly, I don't know. But I'm my intuition says it was everywhere. So many people had never done anything like this before. So many people were like, "This is my first protest." They didn't really know what to. They were hearing the chants like, "Do I join in? I don't really know." Like, there was very much a sense of uncertainty about it from a lot of the people because they hadn't done this before. And I think that speaks to the effectiveness of this, because we talk a lot about how Trump engaged non-politically active voters to vote for the first time and vote for him. And, I doubt that too many of these people who attend these protests had never voted before, but they had never been politically engaged before. They never attended something in person. They never signed up for an organizing list. One of the most impressive things I saw is there were several groups of socialist alternative organizers at this protest, and I saw them engaging with normie fucking people, and people being like, "Yeah, no, I'll talk to you about this," and be interested in talking with them and communicating them, not shutting them down. There was a ton of overtly pro-Gaza shit that wasn't being shut down at all. A lot of the speakers are very pro-Gaza. This was a very much what the big tent can look like to me. And that's why I've had such an aversion to people poo-pooing it on the left, because this is what we need to do. We need to build this way. There is so much energy, so much political will right now, and we need to channel it in every way that we can. There is no bad way to channel it right now. It just needs to be channeled. That being said, criticism from the right has just been hilarious of this, where they're just like, yeah, these are paid protesters. What the fuck? First of all, you weren't there, because clearly these guys, if they're getting paid, they're overpaid. They weren't very good at it. But secondly, what? So you're telling me that George Soros has the money and organizational power to organize millions and millions of people across the entire country to go out and protest on a random fucking spring Saturday, but not win the election? Like, is that really what you think happened here? Like, it doesn't even pass the fucking smell test. And I know you can say that about a lot of Republican positions right now, but it is just silly to try and say that this was paid, because it just obviously wasn't.
Yeah, that was funny. Did you see that post? I was just looking for it, but I didn't know if it was real or not, where Trump said that there's $200 million spent on these protests. I didn't share it because I wasn't sure if it was legit, because it's hard to tell sometimes when I look it up. But whenever, and I'm amazed how often conservatives will go to this well, where it happens. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's like, oh, wow, you guys are being paid by George Soros to say this. And of course, it's hilarious. Speaking of George Soros, what's his net worth? Like $7-8 million. And when they have Elon Musk on their side,
is it?
I don't know. It's a few $1 million.
$7 or $8 million.
I mean,
that would be shocking to me. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, let's see what it is. But it's nowhere near Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's
like
$7 billion.
Oh, billion. I'm sorry, I meant billion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine?
Low
Right.
ball
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I meant billion. Yeah, I meant $1 billion. Yeah. So when they have Elon Musk with, hundreds of billions of dollars, and of course, they don't see a problem with it at all. And Nate, something you said, well, actually, first, John, I couldn't agree more that now is the best possible time for the big tent bear hug type of leftism we need. This is something that this show has been on for years now, that the infighting of the left, folks, it has to end. It's got to stop. We're not going to win if we keep, separating ourselves into our own little corners of leftism, and you're not progressive enough for me. And it's like, no, we have to work together, like Ben Franklin, we hang together, we hang separately here. We're all hanging separately right now. And now's the time when people are fed up with Donald Trump. And the last thing we need is stuff that I have seen, John, where people are saying, oh, well, where were you guys in November? Shut the fuck up, okay? I don't need anyone asking that question, all right? These people all could have been voters for all we know, but some of them may not have been voters. They may have been politically disengaged. And like John said, this is how Trump got the ball rolling, is that he got a bunch of people who didn't care about politics, who saw politics as a boring television show they didn't pay attention to, and they found someone interesting and exciting, and they didn't know what was going on, and they voted for him. And I'm not excusing them as good people or whatever, but listen, I don't care about the morality. It works. We need to get people on our side, and we have to be willing to accept those folks. And also what you said, Nate, that is so true. Another reason, the reason the Republicans are kind of blessed and cursed with Donald Trump is that when Trump runs, his cult follows him. They'll run into hell holding a can of gas to support this guy. And it's amplified with the people who Trump picks while Trump is running, that if you aren't an insane QAnon level right winger, you are not making it out of the primaries. It's not going to happen. And the Trump wing of the Republican Party has won control of the primaries to the extent that it actually hurts them, like especially when Trump's not running, that they can't get all those people. But it doesn't matter if the regular Republicans think that's crazy. We need to control the primaries. We always talk about how upset we are at the Democrats because they're not reflecting the will of their voters. Yeah, they are. I mean, like that's how they got there, right? Like the primary is when the referendum on the candidate happens, not the general election. And if we don't show up to the primaries, they're not going to pander to us. That's just how it is. And I can't agree with you more, Nate, that we have to stress, you can't just show up on election day. You have to show up for the primaries if we want to get some change done here.
Thank you very much, guys. This has been The Left Wing. I really, really hope you enjoyed our show today and all of our excellent segues. But if you're watching this as a video right now, you maybe didn't hear them. So make sure to catch us live at 6:30 on Thursday, 6:30 EST. If you liked our guests, want to hear more from them, Nate, where can people find you?
You can find me on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, all at The Buff Animated.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted you to subscribe to The Left Wing. This is a fantastic show. Appreciate it, guys. Catch you later.